Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing well. Today's video is going to be my review of the Clé de Peau Holiday collection. I know it's taking me so long to review this for you guys, but don't worry, I've got you. I'm going to be giving you guys a full breakdown of the eyeshadow palette, the highlighter, and both of the lipsticks from this stunning holiday collection. But of course, I will share with you guys all of my honest thoughts on whether or not I think any of these products are worth the high price tag. If you are new here, hi, welcome. My name is Sophia. I am a complete luxury beauty addict and I upload new videos just like this one every single week. I like to say that I spend my money so that you don't have to. So if you love luxury beauty, hit that subscribe button to join our fam because we would love to have you. And before we get started, guys, just a quick reminder that any of the makeup that is on my face today, and of course, a shopping guide for where you can pick up these beauties is going to be in the description box. I do use affiliate links, so shopping through these links during the holiday season, that supports my channel and I very much appreciate it. Now let's get into this review. All right, party people, let's get into this beautiful collection from Clé de Peau. Before I dive into each of the products, I do want to quickly share with you guys the theme, the inspiration behind the collection. This is called the Toward the Horizon collection, and it is inspired by a spectacular under the sea fantasy, and spectacular it is indeed. Take a look at this packaging. This was designed by an artist named Katie Rogers. I just wanted to quickly show this to you guys because I really don't see any other luxury brands doing packaging quite like this. I think that this is very special, and we'll get into that as I go into each of the products. It's just so cool. I feel like we normally see kind of like under the sea, beachy, aquatic types of themes, more so for summer collections. But I kind of like that Clé de Peau is doing something a bit different here by doing this for holiday. So just wanted to kind of say that right off the bat. Now I'm going to dive into each of the products. We're going to start off with the lipsticks. Then I will do the eyeshadow palette, and then we will end things with the luminizer. And make sure you keep watching, friends, until the very end, because that's when I'm going to share my final thoughts. What do I think of each of the products? Are they worth it? And then which one is my favorite? Let's get into it. We're kicking things off with the two lipsticks that are in this collection. First off, let's take a look at the component. Absolutely stunning, guys. Do you see the beautiful little mermaid under the sea? She's sitting there on like a throne of coral. She's surrounded by beautiful little golden fish, gorgeous little golden bubbles. You got the little Clé de Peau emblem right there in the center. It's absolutely spectacular. I'm sorry. I am absolutely obsessed with this packaging. It really does kind of remind me of like a fairy tale or a story that you tell a little kid before bedtime. And then not only does the outside of the component look beautiful, but also they have the same little coral fish and bubble motif etched into the metal part, basically the tube where the lipstick comes out. And then furthermore, guys, the actual bullet itself has kind of like a little wave motif, which obviously like that's gonna go away pretty quickly as soon as you use it. But the total package is just absolutely stunning. Now we have two different shades and two different formulations here. The first one is in a matte formula. This one is called Fearless in Coral, and obviously it's a bright coral shade, pretty bright for a holiday collection, but it does go with the theme. And then the other one here is called Radiant in Pink, and that's going to be a little bit more of a sheer formula. So let's try these on, guys, so you can see what these look like on my lips, and I'll also kind of describe the formula to you as well. Let's start off with the Fearless in Coral. This is the one that comes in the matte formulation. And I wanted to put the lipsticks on first, guys, because the eyeshadow palette is a little bit colorful. It's a little bit more on the brighter side. So I wanted you to see what these bright lipsticks look like with more of like a bare eye. So hopefully that'll be helpful. So let's go in first with the coral one. And this is quite bright, as you can see. I feel like this matte formula from Clé de Peau, it's not as matte as a lot of other matte formulations that you see out there on the luxury market. It is very, very hydrating. I feel like that's kind of a trend throughout most of Clé de Peau's makeup, including the eyeshadows, which we will get to in just a second. Like everything has a very elegant look to it, and also caters very much towards people that have maybe like drier skin like myself, maybe more mature skin. We don't want to emphasize any lines in our lips. Let's get this on. And there you have it, friends. This is Fearless in Coral. Comment down below and let me know what you think of this shade. When I first saw these colors on the website, I wasn't so sure because I don't wear that many pinks and corals on my lips, but I'm actually really impressed with this color, and I'm also really impressed with just the opacity and saturation of the color for this particular formula. This is a very creamy formula, and you guys might have noticed I have kind of like more pigmented lips. They're definitely on the rosier side. And a lot of times with these creamy formulations, you don't really get the true color shining through. And with this, I feel like I get the true color that I see right here in the bullet. So beautiful color payoff there. Kind of as I mentioned, it is a creamier formula. This is not a traditional matte lipstick. Even though it says it's matte on the website and it says it's long wear on the website, to me, this is more of a high opacity cream formula. So you don't get that kind of like set look to the lips that you normally get from a matte lipstick, and you don't get as much longevity. But as you can see, it gives this absolutely stunning hydrated look to the lips that doesn't emphasize any fine lines. Are you going to have to reapply it? Yes, you absolutely will, you know, after eating and drinking coffee and all that kind of stuff. But I think it's going to keep your lips hydrated for a very long time, and it's going to wear very evenly because it doesn't dry out. So I just wanted to mention that, guys. I wouldn't consider this to be like a traditional matte formulation, but I do enjoy the hydration of this, and I really like the color payoff. All right, friends, we have a fresh slate, and now we're going to go in with the other lipstick. This one is called Radiant in Pink, and this is the standard lipstick formula from Clé De Peau. So we're not going to get as much color payoff with this one. It is going to be a little bit more sheer. This one gives a really beautiful kind of like romantic rosy tone to the lips, and it's a little bit more kind of like effortless. You don't really need as much of a mirror to put this one on. It's kind of a mistake proof. Not that the coral one was hard to apply, but it's just like a little bit more pigmented. It's a little bit more of a commitment, if that makes sense. This one is almost like my lips, but pinker. Let me get a good layer and I'll show you guys what it looks like. All right, there you have it, friends. This is Radiant in Pink. Comment down below and let me know what you think of this shade. I actually think that this is a very flattering pink. I think they absolutely nailed it in regards to the theme. I feel like a Little Mermaid every time I put these on. This is definitely the one to go for if you want something a little bit more sheer, as I mentioned, but you still get a lot of pigmentation in this more traditional formula. So yeah, comment down below and let me know which one you prefer. This one's not going to be as long lasting as the other one as well, so I'll just mention that. And the other thing that I forgot to mention as well, guys, because I think this might make a difference for some of you, both of them have the exact same component. So it's not like you're collecting another piece of artwork if you buy both shades. So you definitely don't need both of them, but I do really like both of the shades. All right, friends, I think I'm going to keep the pink lipstick on for now. And now we're going to get into the eyeshadow palette. Now, if you missed it, earlier this year, Clé De Peau launched these stunning new eyeshadow palettes, these very expensive eyeshadow palettes. And I do have a full review of the formula and 3 of the colorways already live on my channel, so I can link that down below in case you want to learn a little bit more about the formula after you watch this review. Now, for this holiday collection, they launched a new limited edition colorway called Visions of Radiance. I love the names of all of these products, by the way, guys. Let me show you what the eyeshadow palette here looks like. It is a mixture of an orange, there's kind of a bright pink, there's also a beautiful neutral brown in there, and then we also have this light primer shade, which I'll talk about in a second. The primer shade is a little bit sheer. It also has a creamier texture than the rest of the shades, and it has kind of like a multi-dimensional duochrome glitter in there. And I'll talk a little bit more about the formula as we do the application. But real quick, before we get into that, I want to show you guys the packaging, which of course is on theme with the rest of the collection. I think what we're seeing here in this artwork is the mermaid, okay, the protagonist of this fantasy. She is emerging on the surface of the ocean, and there is just a fantastical display of fireworks. I think that's what it is. Some of you guys were telling me that this is under the sea and this is coral. It could be coral as well. I don't really know. It's your fantasy. You can create it. But to me, she's emerging from the surface of the water a la Little Mermaid, and this is a bunch of fireworks. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. Nevertheless, it's absolutely stunning. Now we're gonna do a look with this palette, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the formula. So the first thing that we're gonna do is go into the primer shade, and we're going to prime my eye. I like to use the little sponge applicators that come with the actual palette because I feel like they're just really good at smoothing the product along. By the way, guys, if you didn't watch my first review of these eyeshadow palettes, these are refillable. So you actually can buy refills. You can put your other shades, you can kind of mix and match them with the actual component. To my knowledge, you do have to buy all of this together for the holiday collection, but normally you can buy the components separately and you can also get the refills. So I'm just kind of mentioning that because I don't know, if you end up not liking this, at least you can reuse the component and you can put some of your favorite shades in there. And I'm just getting a nice layer of the primer. The primer is very important, guys. And I'm not a primer girl, but the primer in these eyeshadow palettes, it works. Not only does it keep your eyelids super smooth and hydrated, but it also helps the colors last longer and prevents them from creasing because this is a very moisturizing, creamy formula overall. It's very unique compared to other luxury formulas. And I would not talk it up if I didn't think it was really good and if I didn't think it was unique, guys. I'm not really seeing anybody else do something quite like this that looks so smooth and elegant on the eyes. So if you have dry eyelids like me, if you get eczema on your eyelids like me, or if you have mature skin and texture is of concern to you, highly recommend that you take a look at this range. I know it's expensive, but they're definitely gonna have some deals this holiday. So the primer for me is very important. And you know what? This could be like a one and done shade because you can kind of see that slight sparkle there. Because the formula is so creamy, the sparkles that are in here, they're not gonna like fall out onto your eye. I'm just getting like a nice little base to kind of prep everything, and then we will go back into this primer shade and we'll use it as an actual like topper and color towards the end of the look. Now I'm going to go into this vibrant pink shade and we're going to start applying that to the lid. You might have noticed that the little fireworks that were here, the design, they are gone. That is an overspray and it disappears like the first time you use it. I already used this palette before. I've already tested it out. So those were gone real quick. And I'm just gently layering that on top of the primer. And this is a pretty pigmented shade. It's pretty pigmented even like for Clé de Peau. I like that you get decent pigmentation with their eyeshadows, but like I said, you still kind of get like the smoothness and the softness that you get from other luxury brands that a lot of people really like. I don't want to go too heavy with this because when I first started playing around with this, I felt like the look became very pink very quickly. So I'm using kind of a smallish brush and I love how it gives kind of like an iridescent sheen, you know, like fish scales, that type of vibe. I'm going to go on with a more precise brush and I'm going to dip into this orangey gold. All of the shades in this palette, they are technically shimmers, but because they're not like chunky glitter, they're not like high shine foils, you can use them as one and dones. You can put them in the crease and they don't look crazy. I'm being very precise about where I apply these guys because I don't want them to all blend into each other. I want there to be this like beautiful kind of watercolor ombre effect. See the difference between that? I'm gonna go in with the little applicator, but like the pointier one. I think I'm gonna go in with the pink ever so lightly on the bottom here. Just get a nice little layer. I did this look the other day and I can't remember, I think I posted an Instagram photo and a lot of you guys asked me what was on my eyes. So this is what was on my eyes. So we're recreating it right now. Now I am dipping into the warm brown and I'm just gonna work that into the outer corner here to add a little bit more depth. You could also use this as a liner, but it's not that dark of a shade. Like, It's not going to be like the deepest thing you've ever seen. In fact, you know what? Let me put a little bit on my applicator right here and I'll show you what it would look like if you used it as a liner. It's extremely subtle, like extremely subtle. It's not going to be a crazy liner. I would say just go in with an actual liner. And then finally, I'm going back into the little primer shade, and I like to use these as toppers as well. I like to dig in a little bit more with my applicator just to pick up more pigment there. It definitely picks up, but it's like a little creamier. So we're gonna add that as a pop of iridescence there in the corner. See the difference? And then I'm also going to add that on the center of the lid right there. Just to kind of brighten things up. I think you guys can tell the difference between this one and this one. If it seems like it's getting a little bit too intense, the magic of this primer shade is that you can kind of go in and just sort of blend it all together, open up the eye, and prevent it from being too heavy. So now what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to blend around the edges. I'll put on some eyeliner mascara and I'll be right back. Ta-da! Here is the final look with Visions of Radiance. I applied a light brown eyeliner from Chanel, and then I also applied some brown mascara. I will link everything in the description box if you guys are interested. And this is what it looks like. I actually think it pairs really well with the pink lipstick. I don't know about the coral one. Not sure about that. That might be a little too much coral and pink and orange for me. You guys will let me know. Comment down below on what you think of this look. As I mentioned, friends, you can see just how smooth and hydrated my eyelids look, and there really is barely any fallout. And I've tested this formula so many times. It wears beautifully with no creasing and all day wear. So this is the final look with the eyeshadow. Now let's get into the highlighter. And then finally, friends, we have the illuminating powder. These are the highlighters from Clé De Peau. Let me quickly show you the packaging artwork on this one. Once again, we have a stunning under the sea landscape. We have the beautiful mermaid. She's there. She's looking and wishing upon a star up there in the sky. She's surrounded by the coral, the bubbles, the fish, the coral, the shells, everything there. It's kind of completing the fantasy. It is absolutely stunning. And then taking a look inside, we have the limited edition shade, which is called Dawn of Destiny. And these powders, it's kind of a mixture between a pearly white, you have a beige, you have a light mint green, and then you also have a soft pink. I'll show you guys the swatch here. When you mix all those together, it really just kind of looks like, I don't know, sort of like a lavender toned pearl. These highlighters, if you've never tried them before, they definitely pack a punch. They're a little bit frosty. They're a little bit glittery. I don't think they are for everybody. I also don't think that you need every single shade. I'll show you a quick example here. So this is Dawn of Destiny. And then I have the one from last year, which was called Shimmering Orb. It looks like these are going to be completely different, right? Not so much. I'll show you a swatch comparison. So this is the one from this year, and this is the one from last year, Shimmering Orb. Are they different? Yes, they are. They have like different undertones and everything, but once they get on my face, they don't look all that different. It is the same formula. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay? Because there is another shade on the website called Radiant Aurora. You can only pick it up on the Clé De Peau website. And I really don't think that you guys need both of them. What is the price for this? $95. $95, guys. That's very, very expensive for an illuminator, even with the gorgeous packaging. So I just want to say you really only need one of them if you want to collect them. Now, let's get this on my face. I'm going to pick up a little squirrel hairbrush right here. This one is from Wayne Goss. And just take a look at how much product you can get on your brush. So I'm actually going to tap most of that off. That was mostly just to kind of show you guys how pigmented it is. And then I'm going to just very carefully apply that to the tops of the face. I think it's really pretty. I don't think that this is going to work for all skin tones. And I'm a little bit disappointed, Clé De Peau, that the second shade that they have isn't like suitable for a different type of skin tone. A lot of these that are in the collection, they really only work, I think, if you're very, very fair. Like this is a super icy, you know, holiday type of highlighter. I don't think once you get this on the face that it looks super glittery. When I look at the swatch, I'm really not so sure. Like, I'm really not so sure. But when I get it on the face, I don't know if I want to put any more. I'm just going to show you guys what that looks like. In fact, I might take another brush here and just buff it a little bit more to kind of blend it in. Yeah. And you can also use this as kind of like a little, you know, finishing touch to maybe an eye look. We could brighten up that inner corner even more. It's fantastic if you like that kind of bright, frosty look. If you are very, very concerned about texture, don't get this. Because I know I'm going to get questions. I know I'm going to get comments. If you don't want like a see it from space type of highlight like that, I don't think I would get this, but I think that it's beautiful. I really, really like it. So that is the Luminizer, friends. Is there anything else that I missed? I think the only other detail that I forgot to mention is that the eyeshadow palette and the Luminizer both come with these adorable little dust bags that have the same motif. Let's get into my final thoughts, guys. I'm going to let you know what I think of each of the products, and then I'm going to let you guys know also which ones I recommend depending on your preferences and also if you're looking to gift this to somebody. Time for my final thoughts, friends. My final and honest thoughts. I'm going to be super discerning about this collection. I'm not just going to be like, oh, I like it. I like everything about it, because I don't like everything about it, or at least I think there are certain things that some people might not like about this collection. So I'm going to do my best to describe what those pros and cons are so that you can make the best decision for yourself, because it's a very expensive collection. Let's start off with the overall theme, the inspiration, the packaging, the presentation. I really, really like it. I think it is incredibly, incredibly luxurious. I think that it's different. Clé de Peau is doing something different than what we're seeing from a lot of the other luxury brands that are out in the market right now. Everybody's doing kind of like the same, like boring holiday metallics, which is beautiful and is very giftable. But I don't know, like this is so refreshing. I never would have thought of this. I never would have thought of this for holiday. This might be one of like my favorite holiday collections, at least packaging wise, ever. This might be my favorite packaging ever. It is so beautiful. And I know I keep gushing about it, but when I look at this artwork, it just like awakens something in my little Pisces soul. But that being said, the formulas as well, it's Clé de Peau, they're very, very good. So you're getting really high quality formulas with spectacular packaging. Thank you, Clé de Peau. Thank you for the value add. If you're going to charge me that much, it better have spectacular packaging and spectacular quality. When I hold up this, which is the Chanel Holiday Highlighter or Illuminator, whatever you want to call it. When I hold these things up, which one would you pick? Like, which one looks like it's worth the money? It's this one, okay? It is this one. Taking a look at just kind of the color stories once you actually, you know, open up the packaging and you swatch everything, you try everything, the color stories are very kind of like spring and summer. So I think you need to ask yourself, is this something that you're going to reach for this time of year? Are you okay maybe waiting for the spring and summer if this is normally what you wear during those seasons? I will say for myself, these are more like summertime vibes for me. Like I probably won't use these tones all that much this winter, with the exception of the highlighter, because I think it is a beautiful, icy, illuminating dream. This is probably the product that I'll use more so all year round. So that's the biggest call out that I have for you guys is, you know, do you feel inspired right now to use something like this? And also, the colors are quite bold. Like all the products that I tried for you in this video are quite bold. The eyeshadow is pretty colorful. Both of the lipsticks are quite bold, and the highlighter as well. It illuminates, you know, it packs a punch, as I mentioned before, and it does have a little bit of like a glittery sparkle. So I think, you know, these products are not necessarily as giftable color-wise as some of the other collections like Dior and Chanel. They're not necessarily as giftable color-wise, but if you have somebody, you know, on your gift list that likes these types of colors, or if you like these types of colors, if you're okay with the summery vibe, then I think it is worth it. Also, I know a lot of you guys, you are going into spring and summer. Maybe you live in a different hemisphere than me, and this is a very, you know, welcome breath of fresh air when it comes to a holiday collection. So I also want to mention that. Those are kind of my overall thoughts. I do want to go through product by product though and kind of let you know like what's my favorite. Let's take a look first at the two lipsticks. I'm very impressed by the formula. This is my first time testing out the Clé De Peau lipstick formula, and surprise, surprise, or to no one's surprise, I should say, it's absolutely lovely, very hydrating, as I mentioned. This would probably be the item that I would gift. And while I really like the coral, I think that the pink lipstick is probably the #1 item I would gift because I think it is the safest color-wise. I think that this shade looks beautiful on most people and it's not too pigmented. If I were to guess, this is going to be the most popular item in the collection. I could be totally wrong, but this is the one that I think is the most accessible. So the lipsticks are probably what I would go for if you want to gift it to somebody. They also are like the cheapest item in the collection. They're $65, which is still a lot of money for a lipstick, but it kind of keeps the price down a little bit. Maybe you can give it to somebody with a little lip brush or a card or something like that. So that's what I think of the lipsticks. Now the eyeshadow palette, as I mentioned before, it's a bit bright. It's a little bit bright and some people like that. I actually don't mind it. I really like warm toned palettes, but I was a little bit surprised by this, and some of you are going to be surprised to hear this. This isn't my favorite. This is probably my least favorite item in the collection. I thought it was going to be my most favorite item in the collection just because of these color stories and because I really like the formula. But my problem with this color story is that I just don't see enough differentiation between these shades. I was really hoping to get a lot more pop from the orange and a little bit more depth from the brown. I think it's still a beautiful look. Is it $110 look? I don't know. I wanted a little bit more from this palette. It is not my absolute favorite. I'm a little bit bummed that they didn't sell the refill and the components separately. Like from a business perspective, I understand why they're not doing that, but I kind of wish that they did so you could pick the holiday packaging with any other color story that they have. Let me show you guys here. Actually, I brought out some of the other color stories. If you want something that's maybe this vibe, but a little bit more subdued, we have here, I think this is called Starlight Splendor. I always get the name wrong, guys. I'll link all of these down below. See how this is just like a little bit softer? This is in my review of the palettes as well. So you can see like the swatches and the demo. And then my favorite right here, which is back in stock at the moment, is Sun Dried Driftwood. Very different color story, but I wanted to show you my favorite one. Maybe I will pop this out and pop in a little sun-dried driftwood, put that in here, maybe do a little switcheroo. But yeah, guys, this is probably my least favorite part of the collection. It's not bad, like I don't regret it. I actually, you know, the makeup enthusiast in me, the makeup addict in me is like, oh, I'm so glad I collected this because it is really pretty, but it's probably a skip. And then finally, friends, we have the illuminator. I think that this is probably my favorite item in the collection. I don't think it's for everybody. I'll explain in a second. But the reason why I like it is #1, I think that this version of the artwork is my favorite. I also like the fact that it has this kind of like jeweled top like it normally does that mimics the powder pattern inside. I like the tone of this for my skin tone. I thought that maybe this would be a little bit too glittery or icy on me, but I don't know why, like I like it more than the one from last year. I think the one from last year was just a little bit too shimmery for my taste. This one is a little bit smoother. And you know what? Normally I don't like super glittery highlighters, but I think this one is like just right. Like it just perfectly melts into my skin tone while still having just a little bit of glimmer. And I wanted to show you guys a quick comparison of this highlighter up against the Chanel Holiday one so you can kind of get a taste for the texture of this and how they might be different. So this is the Clé de Peau one, and this is the Chanel one. See how this one, like, you get a little bit of like that glimmer in there, but see how it's just kind of melting into my skin? Like there's some opacity behind the shimmer, if that makes sense. Whereas the Chanel one, see how that is like highlighting every little pore that I have, every little hair follicle that I have like on the back of my hand, whereas the Clé de Peau one does not. That's why I like this one from Clé de Peau. Like this is a beautiful year-round, you know, frosty goodness in a palette for me. So I really enjoy it. So if I had to pick anything from this collection, it probably would be this. But that being said, if you are worried about highlighting texture, or if you don't like things that are even a little bit glittery, I don't think I would get this. I think I would probably steer you towards the lipsticks probably. The other thing that I'm really upset about, which I mentioned earlier during the demo, is that they came out with 2 shades, but both of the shades look like they're gonna be very, very similar. Like a lot of these lighter ones in these highlighters, like I've swatched them in store before, they're very same, but different. You don't need to go collecting all of them. And the other thing is, friends, I told you this during the demo, I'm very upset that they made 2 shades of these highlighters, and like none of them, at least I don't think, are gonna work for people who have deeper complexions. They both look like they're gonna be very pearly white. I don't see why they wouldn't do that for the holiday collection if they're going to make 2 different shades. And I wish that both of those shades were also available at other retailers. I didn't even know that there were 2 shades until one of you guys asked me if I was going to be getting the other one. And the answer is no. Like even when I found out that there was another shade, I didn't go rush to get it, guys, because a lot of these are very like same, but different. You saw the comparison with the one that I had from last year. You don't need to go collecting all of these. So those are the other like considerations I think you need to have about the highlighters, guys. They're not going to be to everybody's taste. You know, they're very frosty. They do have a little bit of glitteriness to them, and they're not going to suit all skin tones. Clé de Peau, you need to do better with that. You need to do better because not everybody wants this kind of frosty highlighter. Not even people who are more fair like me want something that is this frosty. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more differentiation when it came to the tones that they released. And there you have it, friends. That is my in-depth analysis and thoughts of these products from the Clé de Peau Holiday collection. Now it is your turn. Sound off in the comments down below. Let me know if this review was helpful. What did you think of these products and these demos? Did you get anything from this collection? Please tell us how you like it. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. If you are new here, consider subscribing to my channel. I come out with new luxury beauty reviews just like this every single week, so you need to subscribe. What are you waiting for? And with that, friends, I hope that you see some beauty in your day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.